Smart 24, driving business.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Anthony, and of course, you're very welcome to the program that gives you a little leap in the world of investment, where you get to know about the. Now, you are new. I welcome, but remember, this is a show definitely where we updates on markets, Uganda, or in the region, but as well as the globe. And the stock markets are very important because it stands for our companies to grow best as the public funds, and they contribute to growth of, because as we raise capital for countries, rather for these companies, are trade, we are promoting country. My name is Anthony, and I am your host. Remember to follow me on Twitter. My handle is Anthony SSEBALE at of course, my other handle is at and what's happening currently. Well, remember, subscribe. I know that not live. Definitely get well. Are a subscriber to our channel right now. Remember, the show is also proudly brought. You are an investor in Africa. Get to visit www.com. That is AL. They are a private founded Uganda, operating with opportunity starters, terrible debts, primary banks of countries, as well as markets where we look at the public buying. They do come at interest rates where the returns are stressed that are issued once in a while, and trade bonds have longer term investment that about 5 years, minimum, have 10 years, we do years, 2 years, and as far as 30 years for. Now, takes an opportunity to invest in at dial *292# and started studying Uganda as lead 1,000 balance. You can start trading Africa. Vortex East Africa. Now let's get into the business of yesterday, and of course, they're basically going to give you what really took place on the markets and they trading here from the biggest stock exchange in Africa, but also looking at the global markets. US, of course, the inflation data was released and showed a little rates for the markets, but as well, the African stock markets as well. Looking at, for example, our stock Africa, mining mines out there, Zambia, rather in Zimbabwe, and different companies. Zimbabwe Stock Exchange benchmark in went up for the key there. So, however, Nigeria Stock Exchange looks like Nigerian Stock Exchange is always on the other side of things. When things are going really bad, they're doing so well. When things are going so well, they're doing really bad. So on the second day of trading, Nigerian Exchange actually lost 4 points. Their benchmark index. This was a 0.09% company index. Back here in East Africa, Nairobi Stock gained a 1.5 margin on their benchmark index, which is 1.7. We're going to see some of the big boys there have this event. Guess what? The Johannesburg stock up by over 1,208, the biggest movement on the African stock platform at a 2% gain, but this 2% is a stock worth billions rand. So very big in South African markets. So Ghana Stock Exchange, their index changes at their value. Let's get back home here at the Uganda stock. Uganda stock value. Basically, when you look at the index, remember starters as well, an index tracks aggregate performance, average. Well, companies are listed. So the OSHA index moved up by about 0 point, but at least that exactly is appreciated in the index. Looking at the big participants here, had just 3 of them, and they were led by Uganda Clay. Yes, had me right. Uganda Clay had the biggest market. A total of 29,007 shares are actually Uganda Clay counter change. And fortunately or unfortunately, share price maintained their share price at 50. And that is Uganda Clay. Also, remember did have a good moment at 10,805 shares that were traded. Price of Uganda. Remember, will be that is it. They will be. But regardless, they did have 1,005 that were traded. And they ended and have any and that their gain have moved by %. Now just try to explain, as some people don't really understand how prices mostly out companies trading in. I've tried to explain times, but I will definitely remember cross are set. For example, if you have Kenya Airways primarily listed Nairobi Exchange. On the Uganda Stock Exchange are a secondary stock exchange, or even sometimes can be a tertiary stock exchange. And the Kenya Airways company getting listed Kenyan stock exchange first comes with a price. That price must be carried Uganda stock rate and trying to count. Yeah. Now, of course, when things change, for example, exchange rates factors have the share prices. At the end of the day, Uganda Stock Exchange try to bring prices in agreement, but we don't have a in terms of pricing, price on primary second. So this is why sometimes you see, for example, every counter that gained Uganda security costly by the same percent, basically indicating this was entirely a movement. Simple, right? And so when you look at the top gainers list here, Kenya Airways closed at 109, and this was Nation Media Group gained by 0.0% at 470. Like the media group is struggling to get back to 500 mark, and succeed in that. Then when you look at Jubilee Gold, rather Equity Bank, said they have 1,100 close price. Then Jubilee Holdings are still maintaining their 6,000 mark at exactly 6,000 share after having gained. African Brew gained a 0.03% at 5,000. Centum also gained a 0.03%, but closed at 205 shillings. Uganda claimed, as I said, ended the day the same price at 50 shillings and over 9,000 shares. MTN also not have any changes in price. You can buy yourself stock at exactly 180 at Uganda. Meme stock as well gained a 210 Ugandan price. 1,105. Now let's get to look at some of the figures coming in from the totals, and looking at the totals, have 1,900 shares traded, indicating a 420%, reflecting how badly the markets began on Monday. Now is trading turnover 100% at 6.1 million turnover. About turnover for starters, we are talking about the monetary value. We calculate price shares have been traded and multiplied by the different share prices companies trades. Then later, that gives us looking at yesterday's turnover was an improvement. The market capitalization of Uganda stock is above 20 billion, 29 Ugandan shares. So above that. Regarding the performance of the Uganda stock market benchmark or share index, Uganda stock up by 0.0 points. Gain value there, representing a 1 week loss of 0.9%, 4 week currently. So there is a little more work to do. Are again And so whenever you're investing in a market and you look at the week, 1 week, at the 1 month, that gives you the value of money. This is why there's a very, very, very crucial. You as an investor, before investing any market, ought to know what was the past one, at least on average. So the benchmark index, that picture, aggregate performance will change. Also, basically looking at the USE local company index, nothing because of course the domestically none of the 10 had a price. Currently, the local company index priced valued at exactly 2, making it that's still the local company index 1 week down again. Actually, the domestic have improved 1 week by 1.5%. However, the year-to-date loss of and looking at the particular details here, different companies participate in the trade. As I say, we have Uganda Clay that come out as a gainer. There was no change in price, but have the biggest shares trade market. Now, if you don't know Uganda Clay is Ugandan Public Limited Company, the very fast change back in 2000 January. That's in that same year. Company does deal in the supply, manufacture of clay products, and construction. Company's main business is production and sell tiles, walling, and other building and creative clay market in Uganda market. Reputation of being producers of very high quality products. That labor for Uganda create better raw material base than many of its. Consequently, prices of are priced quite competitive. Now, Uganda Clay is limited stock. The Uganda stock exchange, our main interest here, about currently 13.5 billion Ugandan shares. This represents a just 0.5%, 0.5 billion Ugandan shares worth of stock that is Uganda stock exchange. Currently, company is the 15th most valuable Uganda. Now, look at their last closing price, Ugandan shillings. They haven't had change in this price. First, when you look at September, almost 2 months down the road now, and their price is stuck at 50 Ugandan shillings. But this wasn't their price. Initially, they were trading at prices as high as back then in March 20. The prices went down steadily, low 20, around 17 and 8, and then down to settling at 50 Ugandan shillings December, where they are currently stuck when it comes to value of their shares. Yesterday they had 29,407 shares reported, volume a total turn of 100,000 Ugandan shillings. They do have over 900 million shares that are floated. The value of course 5 billion their market capital. Ghana Craze began the year the price of that about the loss, but this loss was starting in the month of March, where they were at exactly Ugandan shillings. But look at the trading here at the beginning of the year, started at 30. And since then, they have gained that. That is Ugandan best performance for Uganda stock today. Uganda Clays is also the most traded on stock on Uganda stock past months. They have had a total of 4 million shares that has been recorded on the market. 6 million Ugandan shillings worth of turnover that has been transacted past. That is Uganda. Are going to take a very short break, and when we do return, we wind up the markets here, MTN and Meme, and of course some stories coming in from companies, and then we'll fly into Nairobi and then get to other stores across. So my name is Anthony. You're watching March 20. Have you been?
Smart 24, driving business.
Nothing gives you that local entertainment feeling like visiting Kabogoza Kumizigo.
What?
Or passing by honorables for some scandals and evenings with Kamyuses Kavuyo or Caleb at uni. Even joining locals as they fall in love and exchange vows.
To have and to hold.
The best Ugandan family entertainment. And coming soon, Prestige and The Salvador Show. Only on Pearl Magic, DSTV channel 161, GoTV channel 304.
The taste of Uganda in a new international park.
Smart 24, driving business.
I'm very delighted that you're us are the number one business channel, not only but in East. Yes, my name is Anthony SSEBALE, and I am your host. Glad that you're joining us for our proudly brought by Africa financial market. Of course, look at and break down some of coming in markets, bond market, other sectors. Otex East Africa, remember, is reminding that now under Zabu, you can be able to buy. I understand there are new viewers and people asking what are treasury are transferable debts. Of course, governments around the world borrow money. One of public country abroad. So when governments want to borrow, they treasury bonds bank and bank at primary market. After the primary market, bonds go on to where OTC makes things very easy. Now you can trade on that secondary market your phone and your mobile money. So money on your mobile money, and then you get your phone. Rest is here. So you can dial *92# under Zabu and not only access bonds by the Ugandan government, but as well as Kenya and Tanzania. And very soon, and that is very, very soon, have even other countries coming to that investment market. OTEX markets open at past 8 at 50 past hour. And OTEX, something. Now, of course, let's get to wind up business at the Uganda store. I mentioned that have only friends, Uganda Clay and Meme, as well as M. At Uganda Clay, but let's get to look at MTN. MTN has been a little bit silent. The last couple of days of trading, we have want to see what's happening currently. But also a reminder, Airtel Uganda was supposed to leave here, and that will not be happening. The postponement to next year. Airtel Uganda was unable to leave. Happening. Markets are performing right now, but they asked the Uganda Communication at least now law under Uganda Act amendment. The amendment that every national telecommunications company at least sent shares Airtel is that, but they have not because they like market by the time. Now, MTN Uganda got listed exactly 1 year ago. Then the company has been trading on. So, look at data from the first quarter, the second quarter, the third quarter. MTN has been amongst the participants and the top 3 companies via market cap. Not coming in number 1, but coming in the third and second. Now, as per yesterday, the company's market capitalized, and for market capitalization, they are really big value, very value is obtained by multiplying stock price, the current stock price, and current number of shares. Currently, MTN holds trillion Ugandan and rather market capitalization, and this represents a 19.3% fraction of the entire Uganda market, like a quarter almost of the entire Uganda stock exchange. But this company is still the second most valuable company, coming amongst the companies that are listed 18 Uganda stock, making it one of the most. But it's coming, of course, behind Equity Bank Limited. Very low. The total market capitalization 5. As per yesterday, their stock price was 180. You can buy a stock share in MTN Uganda. Now, looking at their volume, they had a 21,700 shares volume for the day's trading, ending the total turnover 91 shares. Currently, the company's total market capitalization at 4. As a result, shares that are outstanding. Of course, I understand the story. We know the story how MTN came on board as an initial public offer, very fast time, where people were able to only open accounts at using their mobile phones without even need to go to the internet. but were also able to buy shares without going to the exchange. The most beautiful IPO in Uganda. They did begin their initial public offer with 100 shares as their opening price. Then at 180, they have not covered that. Quite a challenge. MTN at Uganda stock cover at least some of investors' money that have lost. But in between, there have been various opportunities of ups and downs, and at their curve, they did have their lowest price of 106 euro in March. Now, if you had bought shares back then, we appreciate. So imagine you had 1,000,000,000 shares, or rather about 1,000 shares. That you have 200,000. If you had about, let's see, shares, you have about, so you can do the math, but there has been by the company month of January. Now, when you look at their current year-to-date, and they are at 194. They, of course, finished their initial public offer on this after getting to now on the main board. Started off, but at the end of the year, they 194 Ugandan shillings, and since then they have lost 9% of their price, ranking them sixth. Comes performance. Now, MTN, this is not all. It is still the third traded on stock, Uganda stock past months from December the 13th of December. MTN Uganda within this period has traded a total of 8.09 million shares, and these are valued currently about 1.49 billion Ugandan shillings over the period, with an average of about 128,377 shares on every trading session. The company did dividends this year, and this was about 4.70 Ugandan shillings share. And of course, I saw so many shareholders who were complaining this all, but that's it. The policy says, or the law that is stipulated under the Uganda Stock says that the companies are free to issue dividends as. So, of course, with the approval of shareholders, but definitely they can just and say, okay, we are not issuing or we are issuing much. Then the shareholders have to approve that. Companies are at liberty as much as they can, and of course, this that for gain from the shares, you must be an investor. You won't invest one off and you think you can never happen. So you invest today, buy 10 shares, you buy tomorrow, buy 5. By the end of the year, if you have set a goal, you might be somewhere between 1,000 and 5,000, and in the next 2 years, you're somewhere between 50,000 shares and 100,000. So a journey that you must carry on as you start to make investments right now. That's MTN Uganda stock. But Umeme, of course, we had stories around Umeme Uganda. Yes, in 2025, in the month of March, they'll have no more Umeme. And the shareholders seem not to be bothered much as yet. We would expect, of course, a little bit more activity as some people are trying to get out, as some people are trying to get into the market. But we haven't seen that yet at Umeme Uganda. So we are still watching. But the company was listed in 2012, 30th November, but was given by the Uganda company here date power in Uganda was for a concession, yes, which month of March on the past. So the company currently has about 341 billion Ugandan shillings worth of market capitalization of shares that are floated on the presenting 1.6%. Meme has put up a good performance this year, and I have to be very, very frank. Meme has been a company, according to me. You can have other thoughts, but looking at the beginning of the year, they did a good, and their shareholders over 54.9, or if I'm not mistaken, around that, and every shareholder for every share. And they committed to that. And that wasn't the first time. They have always had a very good dividend. And I think one of the highest dividends, the highest, but all the other domestic. So Meme has really have a very, very wonderful buy to it. I'm happy. Looking at their traded volume yesterday, they traded 10,805 shares at exactly 2.27 million Ugandan shillings. The shares outstanding currently are 1.6 billion shares, total market capitalization of 301 billion Ugandan shillings. Currently, Meme is trading at 210 Ugandan shillings. However, Meme began the year with 189.0 Ugandan shillings, registering a year-to-date loss of 11%, currently still, rather gain of 11%, that is currently still being held by the company. The company is still maintaining second position in terms of the own stocks the past 3 months, and it has traded about 20.4 million shares, valued at 4. Shillings for the period. Is Meme an investable stock? Yes, and yes, and yes, and yes, 100%. There is a story I was following, and they're saying that Meme could, of course, going out of the country, but their liquidation dating stocks come at about 600 Ugandan shillings. Now imagine the current stock price is going to get 600 shillings. That's an extra 400 shillings, about 100% gain profit. Which business can give you that in Uganda? So watch out. At least that was just a little tip for me to you, but you can get to buy yourself. 100 is not that much. You can't afford 200, at least you get 50. You can sell 50 shillings per hour, and at the end of the week, you probably have 10,000 and buy a couple of. That was the trading from the Uganda Security. You have to be very grateful. Uganda Stock always and providing us data that we can analyze the markets, be able to send them. Let's get to fly over Nairobi Exchange, the land of wool. Now, they were mixed about the performance of yesterday, the Nairobi Stock Exchange. Based on the all-share index, very great improvement. Well, slightly better than the previous day, but not as big, but still better than that is of their all-share index, gaining about 1.5 points in days trading at 127.1 points. However, the number of companies participating in trades declined very significantly. I have to say, it's very worrying. We just had about 36, almost just half of trading, and the day ended with 10 gainers and bottom. Trans-Century led the gainers at an 8 gain there, and their share price closed at exactly Kenyan shilling share. Ever Ready East Africa closed at 8.7% gain, and the Home Africa developer of Africa cent. Equity Holdings gained at 4.2% on their stock price, whereas on the losing side we had Express Kenya came out last with an end of day price expectation percent. Exactly 2. Yeah. Nairobi Business Ventures followed at a 4.6% decline. Nation Media Group at a 4.42 decline. Uchumi markets about 5%. Now, that's exactly what I was talking about yesterday. Uchumi Supermarket was a top gainer yesterday, price 6, about 10% gain. Today, bottom loser. Well, that's the brief story of capitalized companies or caps. It's a story of volatility because the smaller you are, every single small or slight effect on the market definitely comes you saying that when the elephants are fighting, it's the grass that suffers. So capitalization companies are usually really bamboozled when it comes to they are immensely affected by the slightest market. Now, when you look at the volumes, Safaricom recorded the highest volume at just about 800,500 shares. African Breweries Limited at 600,000 and KCB at 605,000. Kenya Power and Lighting Company 100. Was no one in the millions as we are used to in Safaricom time round change. Let's get to look at TransCentury, who was the top winner, and we see temporary or permanent comes to change. Now, TransCentury Limited is a Kenyan-based company engaged in power, transport, as well as structure engineering across Africa. The company is focusing activity mainly three, that is power, transport, and engineering. Their divisions, of course, power, that is power infrastructure, manufacturer of electrical and equipment, African region. They do have the engineering division, basically focusing on mechanical. For, of course, provides also out of stage and craneage, correction services. 2014, TransCentury announced that there was a Safari Rail Company that higher stake, about 34% value. Now, currently, when you look at the company's stock on Nairobi Stock Exchange, the company is second most valuable, quite small capitalization. Remember, value here, we're looking at market capitalization. It has about 120 billion worth of shares on exchange, just about 0.16%. On yesterday's trades, they gained 0.07 shillings, closing at 0 Kenyan shillings. Of course, the advantage was the fact that they are a small price company, meaning any slight change comes in as a big. With their 2,300 volume, they ended the day with a total of just 1,900 Kenyan worth of shares. Now, TransCentury began the year with a 1.17 Kenyan per share. You know, has seen most of that price, ranking them the third in terms of year to date, one of the worst performers. Now, shareholders also should be worried that the company has lost a compounded, of course, their loss without about 24% value, just one. That's how terrible it is. The 28th most traded stock on Nairobi Stock Exchange, however, and currently with about 830,000 shares just months. That is TransCentury Africa. Yeah. We did have other stocks, but I will not go into them except the fact that the data shows they had a 51% decline in the turnover, 32% decline in the deals. Currently, the market capitalization of Kenya contracted 1.99 shillings. That's it from the African stock exchanges. We can now get to cross over to US stock markets, where we did have the inflation data released, and we get to some of the effects it had on the big indexes market. Now, when you look at the US stocks here, they cooled off as the data. They soared as for the day. Now, consumer prices rose less than expected in November, month that inflation has moderated more than anticipated by the economists. The consumer price index, which what tracks the average pricing for all November, showed a 7.1% prices over the last year and a 0.1% over the price the prior month, and this of labor. Economists had expected prices to rise at exactly about 0.3%, creep over last year, and 0.3% month over month. On the core basis, this is of course putting aside food and energy prices, volatile. There was which strips about, of course, the other energy. They have a climb of just cent year over year and about 0.2% over the prior month. Consensus estimates called for a 1% annual increase and about 0.3 monthly for price. The report propelled the US stocks forward. Big day for the Wall Street, and sent the yield lower as Wall Street weighed the implication of softer print Federal Reserve policy on the US stock market. Looking at the big boys here, that is the S&P 500, closed at 4,000 points after having gained about 0.5%. Dow Jones appreciated as well to 34,000 points. Nasdaq at exactly 11,000. That's it, ladies and gentlemen, that we had for you. For us on Twitter, remember, at Smart20, and as well me at Anthony Bale. Catch you to times and place. More programs coming ahead, and of course, yes, bye for now.